One of the passages that we have kind of danced all around today without specifically referring to is found in the book of Nehemiah, chapter number 4, where the walls of the city of Jerusalem had collapsed, the gates had become burned with fire, the enemy had unmitigated entrance into the city to carry off crops, to basically exercise their will over the people of Israel, the nation of Israel, the city of Jerusalem. And Nehemiah comes onto the scene. He grew up in the captivity in Babylon. He hears about the plight of his home country. He goes back and begins to plan and implement a solution to the problem that basically was twofold. In Nehemiah chapter number 4, he said, we made our supplication to our God. In other words, we brought God into the picture. Clearly, first and foremost, God was a part, but he said we also set a watch against the enemy day and night. And I have jokingly referred to it this way. His prescription was, our wall is protected by God and Smith & Wesson. In other words, we prayed and relied on the Lord, but we used common sense and implemented common sense approaches as well. If you know anything about that passage, you know they had a trowel in one hand building the wall. They clutched a sword in the other hand. So those two, God and an appropriate protection of people, using a sword in Nehemiah's day, using a weapon in our day, that is not inappropriate, and those two are certainly not incompatible. Sam, I would love for you to address that, if you would, because what we're talking about is getting God back into the picture, not just in our schools, but nationally. And until we do, we're going to continue to have the problems we saw yesterday at this high school. But it is not wrong, simultaneous with that, to implement policies and procedures and protocols that involve sometimes weapons to keep our citizenry and especially our youngest among us in our schools safe.
Dave, absolutely. The two walk together, but they have to be in the right order, meaning this. Life comes from God. God sets the rules. He establishes the value of life. He establishes the moral law, that if it's broken, what the remedy should be. That's called justice. That's what the Department of Justice is supposed to be about. That is a part of life. But it starts with God and His definition of value. But within that, all through the Scripture, the concept of the sword walks hand in hand with the truth. Ultimately, as you gave the example there of the wall, they had a trowel for building and they had a sword for defense. That was what they were told to do. In the temples of the Old Testament, there were the guards who stood there with their weapon, the sword, to prevent the enemy from violating that sacred place. Christ, when he talked to his disciples, said, go and sell your coat and buy a sword. Now, the point was, you're going to be out there in a very bad world with very bad people who don't all control themselves according to the Ten Commandments and the fear of God. Therefore, you are not to be there and just say, come kill me. You have a sword. Christ said that. God has enacted that policy. Point here, though, Dave, is that our faith and our trust must be in God and the truth that He lays out in His plan. The sword, it's not where our trust is, but it's there as a legitimate tool appropriated, given by God to, in the case of government, wield the sword of justice, and in the case of a father or a mother in the home or someone in authority, to protect the lives of those who are under their authority. It goes together beautifully when we understand God's pattern.